Does the Four Nations even matter? Depends on who wins. Just kidding. Today we preview the final between Canada and the USA. The opener went to the Americans in Canada, but who will sit upon the hockey throne in Boston? Welcome back to the BarDown Podcast. This is a podcast, and it's presented to you by Crown Royal. Bam! Bam! Yeah, we're back. We're back as a group. This is the first time we've done a show together as a quadruple.
Yeah, in a while.
Or a quartet. Is
Quartet.
A lot more accurate way of saying that.
It's been a while.
Like mid-January.
I just want to congratulate Mr. Thomas Pockernick on becoming the CEO of a tech company.
Guys, I've worn this turtleneck before.
This guy got New Balances on. Yes, well,
It's so cold. It's so cold.
Pog's a
outside
very
today.
stylish guy.
It's like minus 23 outside today. I just had to layer.
Is it that cold?
Yes, man. It's really cold.
you came in here. It's cold. I mean, speaking of attire, I see someone's come to really like Canada's gear. Maybe they were purchased. I don't know.
So what's the
Who
price,
knows?
Jesse?
It's
What's your price?
well, I didn't pay $500. I'll tell you that for free.
How much did you get that for?
Zero.
And now you like it?
No. I'm gonna say. Seeing it in person and seeing the detail, it's actually
So the detail of what? Like the sweater or the bill?
Yeah.
Or like the check?
There are some details from the bill on the sweater. There's like this fine. No, I'm actually serious. There's like really nice like design on the sleeve that goes all the way across the jersey.
Free.
Also like that it's like a cream color, and I think the logo is just like really cool.
I like
honestly.
the logo.
It's different.
It's the rest I'm not into. But this is as subjective as it gets. You're allowed to like it, no matter the price tag.
I will wear it on Thursday.
Are you going
What
to
if
the game?
What if you get a
What?
free USA jersey?
What?
What if you get a free USA jersey?
No, I legitimately don't. I'm not really a huge fan of the USA jersey compared to the Canada jersey. At least I think the Canada jersey is the nicest jersey of them all now. I'm not even kidding.
Wow.
Sweden.
I liked it from the beginning. Just want to say. That.
I don't like the numbers on still. But anyways.
Mine doesn't have numbers. Mine doesn't have numbers.
Jesse really liked the numbers. But
My jersey doesn't even have numbers. I didn't get any number.
Not yet.
Zero.
Not yet. Don't
Which is
worry.
also nice.
Don't worry. This was the second half of what you needed to do to get the numbers. So you're good.
The
Just
sweater's
say it one
also
more time.
nice, man.
Yeah, no,
It
it's
is
very
nice.
nice. Very nice. So my opening question to you guys. Do you feel that there's more, less, or the same amount of excitement for this game, the championship, as that first game on the Saturday night?
It's kind of an interesting question. I think there's kind of more, at least with the players. The media day today, like there's so many good quotes of the players just either saying, this is the biggest game I've ever played in my life. I think Brandon Hagel had a couple great ones about how he's playing for the flag, and he talked about there's no group chat on our team. Like it was kind of like a shot at the Kachucks, and it just seems like both these teams know what's at stake. They want to win this game so badly. Maybe from a fan perspective, it's either on the same level or a little bit less, just because we were kind of starved for best on best Canada USA for so long.
Kind of.
The fact that it was
Totally.
Saturday night, everyone had that game circled. Now it's just like, okay, we're getting it again, and the first matchup was so great. But yeah, I could see why last one had so much.
It's like there was so much excitement in a balloon, and then like right as the puck dropped, it's like the balloon just bursted, and it was just like, okay, here it is. Like that did not take long at all. Oddly enough, I actually think that maybe it's a little too early to tell because we're still a little bit out from the game, but it's just I don't know if there's quite as much excitement. I'm sure day of it'll be there, but there's also some interesting storylines that we need to keep track of too. I mean, it sucks that McAvoy's not going to be in the game for US, but Quinn Hughes is now on his way.
I was gonna say, like, I think I was more in your camp of where if there was any less excitement, it's only because of how high it was on Saturday.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
so
to
exciting.
me, it's more like in the playoffs where if you're excited for a series, game one will always be more exciting than game two. And obviously this is like a championship scenario. It's not like just like, a second game, but it's the storylines outside of it that I think has kind of raised it again, where now it's like, man, well, who is suiting up for the U.S. and how much more intense is this going to be as a result of them potentially getting? And this is us recording this on Tuesday, middle of the day. So Quinn Hughes, Jake Sanderson, watch yourself, buddy. Take care. Don't eat anything they give you. Okay, like quarantine, eat on your own. No stairs.
Don't eat cereal. It's gonna spoil your milk.
No
Yeah.
stairs. Like
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar tossing that guy down
Yeah,
the stairs.
his name was
WWE.
Zach McGowan, I think.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, you're. I think it's the storylines outside of it that's probably raised it, and of course on the day of, when it's like a Thursday and we got nothing else to do, I could see it getting back up there. But
Yeah, I think so too.
yeah, okay. Well, here I like to start a little bit more positively, or continue that way. But this one, it's a little bit of like an oil check on the team. Who's a player, and each of you here, on each side that perhaps you'd like to see a little bit more from them in this game versus perhaps how they'd done in the first matchup? Luca, you want to start us off?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think for the States, you probably want a little more production from the Jack Hughes, Austin Matthews connection. It's not like they've been playing bad by any means. And I think the Canada game, Matthews was just so good in his own end of the ice that probably gets a little overlooked, obviously, because he's arguably the best scorer in hockey, and Hughes is so talented. But I think production-wise, like in this final game, if you're the States, you're hoping for a big moment from one or both of those players, because it really has been the Kachucks and Eichel, and then you've gotten in a bit of Dylan Larkin, Jake Gensel as well. So like
Boldy as well.
Boldy as well has
Really
been
good.
playing great, but yeah, I think like if you would have told us that Austin Matthews doesn't have a goal in this tournament yet through 3 games, like you'd probably be a little shocked.
You'd put him on that list of wanting to see even more.
100%. And that's not to say he can't impact the game in other ways, because he clearly has, but that's where I'm going.
Let's stay on the U.S. then for you two, and then we'll go to Canada for everyone after.
Yeah, I think like Austin Matthews, arguably best goal scorer in the world, I think he just is going to have to step up and score. Maybe he won't, but yeah, I mean, you'd think that he's the guy that you want to see score some goals. He just hasn't really done it yet.
I heard you say one of the most surprising things that I've ever heard you say before. You for some reason you said the Leafs players aren't doing so well in this tournament.
I was off the cameras.
That's not bad.
Well, I mean, I don't think they've looked particularly that in a huge stage moment. I thought Nylander was just not really that good in the tournament. I think Marner has been a little hot and cold, and as I said on the podcast, I thought Matthews looked actually really good in the first game. Yeah. But he's clearly dealing with some. Clearly a little hurt as well. But you know what? Another guy though who I'd like to see a little more from. I'd like to see him just get some more opportunity is Kyle Connor. Guy's getting buried on the 4th line. Come on.
Didn't you pick him as
Yeah, man. Dude, he's been having an incredible year.
Wasn't he a top 10 player in
He's
the
having an
tournament?
amazing year, just getting buried.
That's
buried,
That's
man.
pretty nuts.
That is that's a tough one.
Who's someone on the U.S. side?
I'm gonna
that
go
perhaps you'd like see a little more from?
to the back end, just because now there's like a lot of conversation about this defensive core. Charlie McAvoy's out. Quinn Hughes, we don't really know what's going on. Is he gonna be playing? Is he not? I'm gonna go to Adam Fox though. I think he's such a talented player, and I think if they're going to win this game, they're going to need someone to step up, and I think he does have more to offer. Not that he's been bad or anything.
The other guys have just been really good. Like Slavin,
Exactly.
Favor's been awesome, and Werenski.
Yeah.
Who has also looked unbelievable this tournament.
Okay, well, Canada. Who's a player who perhaps, again, it was a pretty tight first game there. Wasn't nearly as much scoring as much as obviously it was a very intense game. And by the third period, there wasn't that many players you could really ask to see more from, because there was like 2 lines being rolled out the entire time. But who perhaps would you want to see a little bit more from in the Canada game? We'll start with you again, Thomas.
I think I'm going to go with Mark Stone. He's a cup winner. He played such a big role with Vegas. He's the captain of the Golden Knights. Like, this is a veteran guy that knows what it's like to play in these big games. Got some time playing with McDavid against Finland yesterday, and I just feel like the way that this game was, at least in the first game, how it was so, tight-knit and physical, and that kind of adds to what he's good at. I think they're going to need a lot more from him if they're going to win this game, because so far through the tournament, I don't think he's been great. They've kind of moved him up and down the lineup. His speed isn't necessarily his strength, and I feel like at times that's kind of hurt him with who he's playing with, but I feel like he's going to get opportunity in this game, and they're going to need some more from him.
You know what? I'm really glad to see that Sam Reinhart had a good game last
3
game,
points.
because I felt as though he was kind of struggling the first couple of games. Then he, the line the line changes were amazing. Had been saying like Point should have been up in the lineup. Like I just think putting it with McDavid was a great call, and it actually Marner's like he actually fit in I thought pretty well on that Cirelli and Hagel line, but. I guess if there's one person I'd want to see a little more from that's going to have to be impactful, would be maybe Cirelli. I found he's been like good, not amazing. But I don't think anyone in Canada has been like, oh, and I guess Binnington, like you want to see a little more from too.
It's weird. He let like obviously the one that he let in wasn't the greatest, but he made so many big saves.
Of course,
too,
no,
so.
I like him, but
he was definitely not the reason they lost.
In these tournaments, you have to be like so nitpicky because no one's really playing like that.
No.
Poorly. So
even when people were like Crosby didn't have a very good game at all, it's like, which I get for his high standards, but it's not like you watched him stink it up out there or anything like that at all.
He just didn't really stand out.
No. Very much so. Luca, who for Canada on you?
So unique because like I think this maybe explains or speaks to why we've been maybe so much more critical now too, because like when we usually see these teams play, it's not 3 games and then a final. It's you're playing like 4 round robin games in the Olympics against like a couple countries that clearly aren't on par with you.
Sure.
People are getting more time to have chemistry and just lighting it up a little bit to get that confidence. But this tournament really has been best on best with the 4 best hockey nations. It's really been tight and difficult, I think, for these players to come together. All of that said, I think Cale Makar. I think we saw the impact of him not playing in that U.S. game and what Canada's D-core looked like without that dynamic puck mover that is obviously so good in both ends of his ice. But for them, I think, to have a big advantage in this game, like it's probably going to be another 25 to 28 minute game for him. And they don't have a point from their blue line yet this tournament. So if there is a guy that is going to be able to produce and jump up in the rush, create a little more scoring, which I think in that third period, especially against the States, they were severely lacking, even though every time I watched, Travis Sanheim did his best to jump up into the play. And he did it again against Finland, and they were rewarded with a goal in that scenario. But I think it is Cale Makar that has to be really, really special against the States, because the way they're constructed, Canada's blue line is just not dynamic outside of him. And it's very surprising, having it seen played out to this point, some of the decisions they did make.
This 4 Nations tournament has been drawing a lot of comparisons to baseball and their World Baseball Classic that they usually have at the start of the year.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I kind of noticed in watching it, and obviously this happens in playoff hockey again, that I absolutely love is like, because the play kind of slows down in a weird way, almost like in the way that because the guys are taking more shifts, thus they're not going to be moving at just like absolute maximum speed every single time. You just pay so much more attention to every single moment of a possession. Like everything matters. Like in the World Baseball Classic, just like playoff baseball, every pitch you care about. Yeah. You're like, this actually matters. I'm going to like go like when a pass gets made now in there. So like that whole third period, there were no goals until the empty netter. And yet, like, it was just, like, gripping to watch. So, I've been very happy about that. How about you guys?
Agreed.
Also, just want to give a shout-out to Thomas Harley. Like, what a
great
unique position. He played really well. He was
former Von King.
Good. Is he?
Yes.
Teammate or?
No. You guys think I play for the Von Kings? Come on. I stink.
I don't know, man.
Pog does not stink. Pog's maybe our best player on the BarDown team.
He was invisible in the 20-goal game to some announcers, but
yes, I was.
Were you there?
I don't think he was there.
My name wasn't announced.
I don't remember.
He was
in
the no, it was announced. It just didn't have much gusto to it.
I gotta start wearing my BarDown jersey out in public more often.
He tried
20-goal game.
when we played against Muskegon.
What do you mean? You were there?
Because when he got announced, it was a little less fervence to it.
Ooh, is that the word of this episode?
It's a really
it can
good
be.
word.
I
Fervorance.
didn't.
Oh man,
okay.
These words.
Out on them.
So there's a lot of talk about this next question. Maybe not from me, but in general, especially after the fights that happened to start this game. There's a lot of discussion about how Tom Wilson should have potentially been on Team Canada. But I'm going to reframe this question. I'm not going to ask you about Tom Wilson. You can put it in their answer here if you'd like. But who do you think is one player that each team perhaps wishes that they could add to their roster now. It's a little bit of a unique one for the U.S. because they're in the process of doing that. So try to eliminate like a Quinn Hughes in your answer. Let's just pretend that perhaps Jake Sanderson is in danger.
I feel so bad for Jake.
Yeah.
I won't get a lick of sleep in the next day and a half.
Do not take room service
No.
unless you've seen it travel from the kitchen to your door.
Just cook your own meal, buddy.
Cook your own meal, buddy. Noodles.
Who are we starting with?
You can be you.
Okay. For Canada, I think I would have liked to see, and they had an opportunity to, but they chose Thomas Harley instead. But I still think Evan Bouchard would have been a great choice over a guy like Colton Parayko, honestly. I think that the way Drew Doughty has played has really, I think, surprised a lot of people. He's played quite a bit of minutes, more than I expected from him, and he's played pretty solid, honestly. Like, I have no qualms with him and his performance other than, like, maybe a lack of speed for sure. But for a big body like Colton Parayko, I haven't really been overly impressed with his physicality. And I know he fought JT Miller, and, like, that's all good and fine. But for how big he is, I haven't felt his presence as much as I thought I would. I think he hasn't been great in his own end of the ice. He obviously isn't the offensive player that Evan Bouchard is. So I just think with how the tournament has played out, in hindsight is 2020, it's so easy to say, like, yeah, I wish you had one more dynamic guy back there. But I think they probably should have prioritized that a little more, even if he was the seventh defenseman. Maybe prioritize that a little more than how they constructed this.
Jesse, who would you like to see in a Fanatics jersey?
Give me Mark Scheifele all day. I mean, obviously there are a lot of people who were left at home. I think Zach Hyman is another guy I would have loved to see on the team. But I think Mark Scheifele's having such a good year. He's big. You could have played on the wing. I think he could have added some nice offense to the team.
How big's Mark Scheifele? He's big.
He's like
Dude,
6'3".
he's like
Ask
6'3".
Why
Jake
do I
Evans.
always think of him as
Ask
small?
Jake Evans how
Is it
big
just because of his
Mark Scheifele is.
defense? I don't think of him
and he takes such good care. Yeah. Go ahead and ask Jake Evans.
We're moving past that.
That weird 4-game suspension.
Yeah,
That's
weird.
We're moving on. We're moving on.
But yeah, Mark Scheifele.
Okay. I always think of him as small for some reason.
Man,
I think it is because of his defense.
Because he doesn't swear either.
Yeah,
Maybe.
he's freaking
That
big.
video was so good of the
So
guy on the
hilarious.
Flames. But do you guys see that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
chirping him, calling
Yeah,
him.
you flipping idiot. But he also takes very good care of his body. I'm pretty sure like his diet is pretty nuts, and I just think he would have fit into this team.
A lot of avocados.
Probably.
Yeah.
And when you're making that much cash, you can afford to buy all the avocados.
Every
you want.
meal you have can have avocado. Give me the ice cream.
Fanatics probably is
Avocado
paying him
ice cream.
to wear the jersey.
It's like someone at this table.
It's like someone else at this table. Ain't us.
it ain't me.
We all paid for our
It
sweaters.
ain't me.
Actually, not Luca. Luca
It
got.
ain't-
No, this was free.
Luca was paid
Yeah.
off too. Yeah. This is Muji. I was not paid
This
to
is
say
from
that.
my tech startup. So
Nice. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Thomas, who would be nice to see on the team?
I feel like some low hanging fruit here would be like, oh, Logan Thompson and just Binnington. I feel is like an easy target, but I'm not gonna do that
No, he's
because
been-
I actually think
yeah.
Binnington has been fine.
I
And
think he's been
I-
fine.
while
I
the
agree.
goals weren't great against the States, you can't,
You ain't blaming the loss on him.
exactly.
No,
when you
that's-
only score one goal, you can't point fingers at the goalie. So I'm not gonna say a goaltender. I'm gonna go with Noah Dobson actually, and I know you talked about Evan Bouchard. I feel like they're pretty similar. I think Noah Dobson is a little bit more well-rounded, but he still has that dynamic offensive upside that I feel like they kind of lack when I watch them. I think Scheifele's a great option too.
I thought you were going to say Nick Suzuki for sure. Cause
I actually understand why they didn't bring Nick Suzuki.
Interesting.
And I feel like, yes, he's a pretty well-rounded player, but he's not elite enough offensively as the top in town on the team. And like defensively, I would rather have Anthony Cirelli. So I did because he's just kind of like good at everything, but not great. So when the talent is this high, I did understand. He's a great player, but Zach Hyman's another one. I feel like he would have been really beneficial. I feel like the States have,
Been
they
great
have
with
that
McDavid,
grit.
man.
Yeah, that too. So
How about on the United States on that side of things? We'll start with you, Luca.
There's so many. I mean, it's got to be a forward because I think their D unit has just been spectacular throughout this tournament. And like conversely, when you look at how they move the puck, the speed they play with, to Canada's, it really is a pretty stark contrast. I guess I'll go with like maybe Cole Caulfield having a great season. Maybe nice to have that spark, that energy, fast skater, dynamic goal scorer.
What if they had like someone like Kyle Connor on the team? I haven't.
Someone like that might be. The guy's getting
Are you sure he's
buried.
playing?
He's getting buried.
I think I saw a video of like he was a top 10 player in the team. But, like,
Dude,
I haven't
Connor
seen him
in the
on
NHL,
form, yes.
In the NHL
On
this
form.
year, he's been
No, he's been
unbelievable.
good. He's been
Yeah.
good.
He's
Oh,
sixth in the league in scoring
Yeah.
going into the tournament. It's a mystery as to why he's getting buried the way he is.
Well, it's so many great players, and that's why I even struggled to say Cole Caulfield because he'd get buried in the lineup.
And he also-
There's not
he's only really a
role
goal
for him.
scorer.
He's only a goal scorer, and in a tournament like this, you feel like everyone has to have, especially if you're playing on those bottom
Rounded,
two
man.
lines,
Yeah.
you got to be so defensively responsible and adapt to the role, and that's not his role. So it really is tough to pick a guy, I think, for the States because it just feels like they did a really good job picking this lineup.
Tough challenge. Jesse, are you up for it? Well, who perhaps should be on
I
this
think I'd go with Tage Thompson. I mean, this guy's having a dynamite year. He's big. I feel like this is just like a tournament that would be very. I mean, he's not like the fastest player, but he's not. I feel like this would be like a nice tournament for him, and he's got an unbelievable shot. You can play him on the power play, and he's not getting pushed around, and
No.
it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt having a guy. What is he? 6'7", I
He's
think.
a beast.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
He's not
having
as
a guy-
tall as Mark Scheifele.
Doesn't. It's honestly not that much. Not that much of a difference.
I'm joking because I didn't know how tall he was. That's not,
But yeah, give me Tage. He's a beast.
I guess for mine, like I've given Clayton Keller some love, but I don't know. I can't sit here and be like he
It's
should
hard,
be
man.
on this team when I watch them. I kind of agree with you. Like they've done such a good job picking this team, and it's just like it's tough.
I'm not gonna ask you to pick who you think the winner of the game will be. Not yet, at least.
Coward.
For this next question. Whoa. Whoa.
Ask us.
Not yet. But I will ask you to name the 3 stars for if both teams happen to win. Who do you think actually will be vital for victory? So this is how you see the game playing out via your 3-star selection.
So 3 stars, like Canada wins, all 3 Canada players,
Exactly.
and then USA wins 3 for US. Okay.
Whoa.
If
Gotta think about this.
If the US wins, I mean, first star for me is Connor Hellebuck. I think he was unreal in that first game. Didn't need to make they did a great job keeping Canada to the outside and really limiting their chances in the third period. But
Not leaky for the record.
No, not leaky.
He's not leaky.
He's been outstanding
TK?
all tournament long. He's been the best goalie by far all tournament long. So I think if they win, it starts with Hellebuck. Second star, let's go with. I hesitate to pick a Kachuk right now just because I know they're both a little banged up, but I feel like one's gonna have to have a good game. But I'll go with Austin Matthews because I think it's going to be a both ends of the ice performance where maybe he chips in with a goal, but then is just playing the tough minutes against the Crosbys, the McDavids, the McKinnons, and winning those matchups. And then third star, sure, let's go with Brady Tkachuk just because he's going to provide every amount of physical play you could want and may even chip in with a goal or two.
Love it.
How about you?
That's great. I guess if I were to do I agree. I would go Hellebuck number 1. I think Hellebuck's, and I do think there's a very good chance that ends up being the difference in the game.
Yeah.
He's looked tremendous. Second star of the game. I actually think I don't even know if it's low key. I think Jack Eichel has looked phenomenal.
Yeah,
for the
he's
US.
been really good.
He's maybe been their best forward. Just the way that guy carries the puck. He's so fast, so smooth. I don't know. He's looked amazing. And third star, this guy's just been on an absolute heater this tournament. How good has Jake Gensel been? Amazing. Big time player.
Good show.
Steps up when he needs to. He's been unreal. So I guess that's probably my top 3.
Okay. Thomas, you've had a little bit of time to
I
think.
have had a little bit of time. I don't want to copy you guys as well, so
There's only so
I'm-
many names. So
I'm not gonna put Hellebuck as my first star. I'll tell you that. I think my first star.
You said that like it was a shot.
Well, both of them.
That he would have stopped.
Well, I think
just change it up a little bit.
maybe in Puck's mind,
Maybe
it's
they win
it's a-
6-5.
I was gonna say it's a 5-4 game, and
Okay, a
Hellebuck.
little more open.
Possible.
Okay.
He'll
I
probably,
like that.
He'll probably be my second
Probably
star.
prefer that.
Who's your first star?
My first star. All the chatter right now is about his brother, but I just feel like this is the type of stage where the next young leader for the country makes his mark. I'm gonna go Jack Hughes
Interesting.
as the first star. I'll go Hellebuck as my second star, and the third star. Let's give it to Austin Matthews. He's been playing with Jack Hughes, so if he has a big game, I feel like buying
Expecting a
victory.
lot out of that first line.
just one way the game could go.
Yeah,
I
for
could
sure.
have said Brock Nelson. Maybe that fourth line will get going.
Not a single Brock Nelson mention there.
And also,
Did hit a post or a crossbar. Forget which one.
Yeah, in the first game.
Yeah.
we also didn't mention a defenseman, which has been like
Which is the core.
strong point
Yeah.
of them. And
Yeah.
I think another guy who has just been unbelievable to watch. How good does Zach Werenski look? Like he has been amazing. I think he has 5 assists too in 3 games. Like he's just doing it on both ends of the ice and truly one of the best in the league. Like I think he's top 5 defenseman in the league right now. Yeah.
Luca, you want to start us out with the Canadian side of things? 3 stars
Sure.
if Canada were to win the final.
So hard not to pick a goalie in this.
Yeah, I know. I was
Yeah.
thinking that too with
It's just like-
Bennington. Yeah,
like
or maybe
Bennington
Aiden Hill.
probably.
But you're
comes
right.
in.
If it's a high
Maybe
scoring,
Aiden Hill.
Gets
if
shelled
there's a
after
high
3.
scoring game, they're not going to pick it. So
Okay,
it's
let's
true.
go. Let's go with that option then. Let's go with the high scoring game.
You don't have to.
I'm gonna go with Nathan McKinnon being the first star. Leads Canada in goals, and I think that in that first game against the States, he just had trouble finding open ice to do some of the things that you just see him do kind of night in, night out in the NHL, where it's just you're getting the puck in your own end of the ice, putting so much pressure on the other team's defense and backing them in and then starting your cycle game. Didn't really have a lot of opportunities to do that in that first matchup with them, so I think if they are going to win, they're going to need that kind of performance from him. Say pots a couple and gets first star. Second star, I'll go with Cale Makar because I think that if he plays like 28 minutes and if I'm thinking that the difference is going to be like blue line production, maybe he pots a goal or leads to a couple of assists and he's just playing in every situation and playing really solidly. And then, sure, third one, we'll give it to, God, I don't even know. Maybe Jordan Binnington.
McDavid as a sleeper in your world.
Yeah, like McDavid, it's so tough. Like
Mr. Electric.
You can make McKinnon, Crosby, McDavid your first 3 stars. No one's gonna bat an eye, but like maybe it's a Binnington
I'm batting
performance
my eyes at no McDavid.
where
pick.
they shell
That's
Canada
fine.
with like 35 shots. He lets in only a couple of goals, and they win 4-2.
Okay. Jesse, in your world where Canada wins, who are your 3 stars?
First star of the game, Sidney Crosby.
Yeah,
Let's
nice.
go.
Golden goal again.
The
Man,
golden
this
goal.
guy just steps up in the big moments. I know he really wasn't noticeable actually in the first game.
What's he
against
gonna
the
say
US.
if
The
he
first
does
game
that?
they did
The
a great
exhibition
job.
goal!
They did a great job. Yeah.
The Four Nations facing off goal.
Have you guys seen there was another clip to come out of the MJHL? Another one. Like, oh, Billy Smith.
Oh, I was gonna say, who the hell is the MJ? It was that guy who did that thing? with
No, but
that
there's
sound.
another one then. I think it's a different guy. Oh,
Michael Jackson
makes
hockey
the
league?
save, Billy Smith. Billy Smith. Is that the name, Billy Smith? Dude, it is a nuts video. So Crosby is my first.
The
star.
reenactment is just as nuts, actually.
Ooh, it is my pets. So second star of the game. Just because I think, this guy is going to have to be the horse if Canada really wins. And I'm going to go with Cale Makar. He's a beast. He logs in the most minutes. And
We're waiting for it. Yeah.
he didn't play the first game against the U.S. And I think if Canada does win this game, it will be because Cale Makar's in the lineup this time. Like,
It's a big difference.
Yeah, they struggled, especially getting offense from their back end.
Yeah.
So, and then third star of the game, I just feel like it's kind of hard. You could go with like McKinnon as well, which I wouldn't be surprised if he was in there too. But I'm just gonna go with McDavid because he's been so good, really throughout the whole tournament.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Thomas
Very
Plekanec.
interesting.
You've had
Works with the throne.
Oh,
And
that's
your name.
really
Yeah.
good.
And your
What?
name.
Nicely done.
Thomas Plekanec, because he always used to wear a
Turtleneck.
turtleneck.
Oh wow, that's wicked. Stop.
All right. Clearly a ton of star-studded players. So many good players to choose from here. I am going to put McDavid as my first star. I just feel like this is his stage.
That's a courage.
It's his moment.
That's a
He's-
courage.
Yeah, that was hard. to
Hats
pick.
off for Thomas.
You know what,
there.
though? I'm going to go with some bolder takes for
Crown
2 and 3.
to you.
For
And
sure,
it's
Brandon
good.
Hagel's
Yes.
one of them.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
listen, John Cooper just keeps getting flack for playing his guys. And you know what? I think it keeps working because I think they've been good. Brandon Hagel won a lot of people over when he dropped the mitts with Matthew Tkachuk.
His quotes, he's
Hey, he
dropping
wasn't
too.
trying to win people over, okay? It was for the flag.
It was for the flag. It was
Not
the
for
flag.
anything
No,
else.
but he's
It was
playing
for
hard.
the Fanatics.
Did you guys see his quote about when he was lying in bed the night before the first
Yeah.
game? How he's, I hope people aren't going to take this like an all-star game because I'm ready to pretty much run through everyone head first.
There was no chance of that happening. There's been people discussing that, but it's like every time I hear someone say that, it's like it's the players who
never
wanted
thought-
this.
Yeah, I
Never
never
thought-
even
I don't
thought
know
of
how-
this
I
as
never
an
thought
all-star
for
break.
one moment
No.
that they were gonna not be
try.
intense about it or
No.
try.
I
Like,
kept saying all weekend on Twitter,
wild
people were
to
like,
me.
look at the NBA All-Star game or All-Star break compared to the NHL All-Star break, and I was just like, this
It's
is
not an
not
All-Star
even an
break.
All-Star.
It-
This is literally just an
it-
international
It technically
competition.
is. I get it because
Yeah.
that's what they've decided to do instead.
For sure.
So I get that angle, but for sure, like I don't even think it's a fair comparison for the NBA and whatever
Yeah,
that
it's-
was. But
What,
yeah,
you didn't like Wemby and Chris Paul trying to
Just
cheat?
cheat it up.
Loved that.
yeah, no pass.
It's electric.
Wasn't no good. But yeah,
Okay, so Brandon
Okay.
Nagle second.
No,
star.
he's my third star.
Oh, so who's your second?
Second star.
This is such a weird
It's
order.
when John.
Well,
Cooper-
because you guys brought up Brendan.
Oh, okay.
Second star, also from the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay.
Fun fact about this guy. Didn't get drafted to the OHL. At least I don't think. He played single A hockey until he was like 13 years old. Anthony Cirelli.
Can you call it a fun fact if you then pull the factual element out of it by
Oh.
not being sure of it?
I thought you were gonna say
That's,
Braden
that's
Boyd.
not the fun
Yeah.
fact. The fun
Okay.
fact is that he scored the Memorial Cup winning goal
Yes, he did.
twice
Oshawa Generals.
for the Oshawa Generals.
Yeah.
That's Anthony Cirelli. He's a second star. He gets done on both ends and he scores. And
Yeah.
he's from Vaughan.
May I ask as well, just before we move on here, just
No.
quickly,
No,
who's
no.
just one X factor in the game from either team? Doesn't have to be one for each, but like just in the game.
Quinn Hughes.
No, that's a massive
Yeah.
one. I
Yeah.
think like if he's healthy enough to play, he is going to be a
Or if they
different
cheat.
The,
factor.
the
If he
rotting
can play.
piece of sushi that makes Jake Sanderson sick.
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
That
X
is the X factor.
Dude, if they tell you, "Hey man, let's go to dinner at Quincy Market," ignore the fish.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't go.
just quarantine, man.
Don't do
I'm gonna
Skip the chowder.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Brain Point. I think Brain Point has looked really good the whole tournament. I think he was due to be put on the line with Crosby, wasting his talent on that third line. Like he should be playing way more. One of the best scorers in the league, and he steps up in big moments. This guy is a gamer. 2-time Stanley Cup champion.
2-time.
2-time.
Well, I can't find whether or not Anthony Cirelli was drafted in the OHL, but I suppose there wasn't a ton of interest in finding the answer out. To
Well, he scored the Memorial Cup
Yeah,
winning
that's
goal.
all that matters.
That's what I want.
that's
He's
all
a clutch
that
player. That's all I wanted to
was the
say.
Do you know who that was
fun
against?
fact.
Windsor Spitfires?
The Kelowna Rockets. Madison
Oh, I'm
Bowie,
thinking
I'm
of
pretty
the
sure was the
OHL
captain of the
final.
team. You know who else was on that team? Leon Draisaitl. And Josh Morrissey also may have been on that team.
Wow.
I could be wrong.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Fun fact that is not 100% factual.
cannot-
Yes.
We
A
cannot-
fun potential fact.
100% verified.
Potential fun fact.
Okay, well,
PFF.
we've reached the part where obviously some predictions probably should be made. You know, yeah. Let's just have at it. Thomas, who's winning on Thursday night?
I think Canada wins this one.
Score.
I'm going to say 4-3 Canada. I don't want it to be in overtime because I just feel like the fact that it's 3-on-3, it
I
loses
know.
some like.
Yeah.
Takes away from it
If
a little
McDavid
bit.
scores the game-winning goal in overtime, it's like, yes, this is a great
3-on-3.
moment for him, but it's 3-on-3, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just not that quite.
They should
not-
just change it back to 5-on-5.
I
Well, they're
agree.
changing all the rules up
Yeah.
until this,
Yeah.
game anyway.
Well,
so
it's an NHL run event too, right? So I guess that's why it's different
For
on
sure.
IHF.
Yeah.
So
That's why they
they're
can
just
fight.
going by
That's-
NHL rules. Exactly.
it's literally
Which is actually sweet that it's run by the NHL.
Yeah,
but
for that
maybe
one.
make overtime.
well,
fun
it's just
for
really an all-star game if you think about it.
It is.
Just get Kevin Hart enhancing the whole game.
Yeah, I think Draymond Green's actually in between the benches
Yeah.
Thursday, so that'll be fun. But yeah, I think
Pretty
Canada's gonna win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Canada wins 3-2 in overtime.
Okay.
Yeah.
3-on-3. He's asking for it.
I think
3-2.
I think Binnington will actually step up and have a good game.
Again, potential. Or
Yeah.
did you thought he had a good game the
He
first?
did.
A
I
fine
thought
enough game.
I thought it was a little sketch what happened at the end
He's
of that
leaky.
Finland game. Yeah.
Oh, the
you want to talk
Finland
about
game.
someone that's leaky? Binnington is leaky.
Yeah.
It's so
Luca.
tough to beat the same team twice, especially on this stage. I think me and you said U.S. in the first game.
Yeah.
I'm going with the U.S. again.
Wow.
I think they're going to win it.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win it 4-2. And it's not because maybe I'm trying to just like reverse jinx it, but they like flip a coin.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
never felt in my lifetime that it's been this close roster-wise. And like
I agree.
I probably look at USA's roster and like I know they don't have McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby, but like top to bottom plus goalies, it's maybe better.
They're deeper. Like they're deeper. Like their
Well,
third
when
line,
you have
their
fourth
second-
line,
yeah.
Kyle Connor, like that's
Yeah.
impressive, right?
Get him off the fourth line. Like, what are you doing, Mike?
He's a grinder.
And he's saying, guys like been amazing this year. After one game, we're gonna bury this guy. We're burying him on the fourth line.
Guy literally turned to his assistants, and went, no goals, cut the minutes.
Hey, you know what though? I mean, even though they wouldn't play together, but I think he's playing with Brock Nelson right now. Maybe Brock Nelson goes to the Jets. Maybe they start developing some chemistry together, playing 7 minutes a night for.
Maybe Brock Nelson's the guy they scratch.
Could be.
Brock Nelson, don't go to Quincy Market. I'm telling you. All right, before we get to our final segment here, again, if you're liking the video, why not give it a like? We appreciate it. Can I announce that we're going to be doing a live show on Thursday now? I think I can, right?
Yeah.
We don't know yet if it's during the game or just after, but we'll see. It will be live at some point on Thursday. It might be for the game.
F it. We'll do it live.
I'll do it.
Oh, now I gotta bleep that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to our final segment. That deserves a crown. Luca.
Presented by Crown Royal, our presenting sponsor of the BarDown Podcast. I'm going to go with this entire tournament. It deserves a crown because I think John Cooper's alluded to it a few times. Like, hockey is in a better place now, and this tournament has done more for hockey maybe in the last 5-10 years than anything that's come before it because we haven't had international hockey. NFL players are talking about it. NBA players are talking about it during their All-Star weekends. Media members of all other sports are looking at it and being like, why can't our sport have something like this?
Ronaldo mentioned it. He was like, Brendan Hagel?
He said,
I heard that too, actually.
Guy plays for the flag.
Not for the camera. No camera.
no Coke either.
No group chats.
Just water.
Yeah. I just think this tournament and international hockey definitely deserves a crown because we love this sport so much, and these moments, these tournaments really do help grow the game in such a positive way, and I just love to see it. So that's what I got.
That does
It's short and
deserve a
simple.
crown.
Yeah.
It actually
It
has
does.
been incredible. It really does remind me of it. We had this discussion, I don't even know how many podcasts ago, that had to be maybe even a couple of years ago, but we were talking about like zany things to introduce it just to make the NHL a little bit different, and international breaks was one of them. And this is as close as it gets to having an international break where you're disrupting your season for technically an exhibition, but now we all get to enjoy like what they already enjoy in European football, which is like, it's awesome to get to see the best of the best play against each other, and it's even more intense because you said it's such a rare opportunity.
Man, the first 9 seconds of that game was so electric.
It's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And you're not seeing that at the Olympics, obviously, and that is the advantage of having this as an NHL.
That's a
rivalry.
one-off. It's a one-off.
Yeah.
So, breaking news: John Cooper's added Nick Paul to the lineup.
Ooh, that's big.
Whoa! Stop the recording.